Namaste to everyone. So we are going to take up a Kabir couplet today after some time, and this couplet I think I have taken earlier also for elaboration, but since this is so much a part of our daily life and this is the path to be traveled, so I thought it was just coming to me and I thought I'll take it up again and see if there are further reflections on it to make it more simple and uh, live it rather than just talk about it. So it's called चाह गई चिंता मिटी मनवा बेपरवाह जिनको कुछ नहीं चाहिए वो शाहन के शाह. So it can be referred to, I think, Rahim ji also. I'm not sure whether it belongs to Rahim ji or Kabir ji. The essence is one divine. So for those who may be getting stuck at whether it belongs to Kabir ji or Rahim ji or Tulsidas ji, we know that it's all coming from one divine. So I would ask for forgiveness if I'm confusing. But let us go to the essence of the matter. So चाह गई चिंता मिटी मनवा बेपरवाह जिनको कुछ नहीं चाहिए वो शाहन के शाह. Chaha is our wants, desires, expectations, demands, preferences. So whatever is happening, no, I don't want it this way. I want it. I have a plan in my head and that's what I want to execute. Now most of our plans are very trivial plans in the sense that they are very egoistical plans. They are belonging to this limited me, this little bodily self that I am, very limited in my joys and happinesses. And how can I become more? So anything that seems very glittery, any person, any life situation, any relationship, any opportunity where you can lay your hands on, something in us rises up, shows its hood, and it wants to grab at it. So it's like very sticky, it wants to possess it. Why? Because we live with this inherent lack of something. If something is missing all the time and we feel I'm limited, and yet there is a want to be more, want to be further more than what we are right now or what we feel we are right now. So we have all these expectations and demands, and we think that if we fulfill our expectations, demands, grab at every opportunity, try to possess person, people, wealth, situations, then I will be more, something will be added more to onto me and I'll become more like an expanded version of myself and will have more happiness, more joy. But we have to reflect, have we ever got it? We have been following our wants, demands, expectations. We have been grabbing at all the opportunities that seem so glittery. This will fulfill me, this will make me something more, some more appreciation, more praise, more rewards. Still, we remain a beggar. And whenever there are wants, desires which are clinging to us, we parallelly have chinta. So, चाह गई चिंता मिटी. If we have a desire, if we have a rigid, solid demand, expectation, desire in our head, that something that we want to grasp onto, grab onto, then parallelly we will have the arising of chinta, which is worry and anxiety. Why? Because if I don't get that, then oh my God, what will happen? So chinta is there, parallel anxiety is there. So I cannot have that. I will only have the demands and expectations, but I would not have the worries. So it's like two, what do they say? Two sides of the cone, same coin. One is the chaha, and other is the chinta. The two stones of duality, as we say. So they come with like a package. If you buy chaha, then you get chinta free. And if you buy chinta, then you get chaha free. It's like that. So there are two sides of the same coin, the duality. And if I have worries in my life, anxieties in my life, I can be sure that I have rigid, solid demands and expectations in my life. This is how it should happen. This is the right way, and that bothers me if it doesn't happen that way. So bothering comes along with having these rigid, solid ideas about life or about myself. And also this grasping self, which wants to just grab at everything, thinking that it will make me more, but it never makes us more. We still remain a beggar all our life. So चाह गई चिंता मिटी. This Kabir ji or Rahim ji is talking of this state where now I am not wanting anything from this material existence. Now many a times we have this fake image in our head where we feel that, oh, what a life it would be. Now I am not wanting anything from life. It's not like that. It's just our imagination that makes it appear like that. That if we are desireless and if we don't have likings and strong preferences, rigid ideas, then we are like this. We are not like this. One has to live it to realize what it is like. So it's more like a state of freedom, because what binds us is our worries, what binds us is our anxieties, and what binds us is our right ways. I know the right way, and this is how it should happen, and if it's not happening this way, then something is really seriously wrong. So we take it lightly, a bit lightly. We don't become too serious about everything that we don't get. Our life doesn't depend on that. Now one can ask, if our life doesn't depend on that, what does our life depend on? Our life is rooted in ourselves. So we have to find a rooting. We all are looking for a rooting, a grounding. We try to find a rooting in the outward manifestations, and thoughts and feelings are also outward. Why? Because they are continuously changing. But we see that whether I grasp onto any person, any fame, name, respect, or my ideas, dogmas, they just make me more limited, suffocated, and they don't fulfill me. They don't ground me. I don't get a solid ground in my fleeting appearances in life. So what do I find ground in? Because only then I can be without any chaha, without any chinta, and then still living a life joyfully. It's not like living like a stone. And we have to root ourselves in the divine. For those of us who do not resonate with the word divine, we can choose rooting the mind in the present moment, bringing the mind home in the body with the thread of breath. Make the mind home, come home, again and again. The mind is like a stubborn child which wants to just go out towards every glitter that is there. And we coax and cajole with love and bring the mind home every moment. Every then and now this has to be done. So we need a rooting for ourselves. We need a ground, a base for ourselves. And the divine's name, if we resonate with, can be our base, instead of thoughts, feelings, and people and situations that will always keep on changing and bring us more and more disappointment when it will not act the way I want. So, rooting ourselves by bringing the mind home here and now in the body with the breath, or rooting ourselves with the divine name, can be one of the ways. And when we live rooted, being solidified, stabilized with the divine name, having the whole body full of the divine name, whole body fully, mind fully in the body, home, then we have grounding. We have a very solid, unshakable grounding. And then we are not looking for outward likes and demands to be fulfilled. So I can get a feeling of this contentment. That is not there then. So I am free of worries, free of anxieties, and I am also free of my demands, egoistic, grabbing opportunities that the ego jumps at, because always we have this sense of lack. So that sense of lack can only be fulfilled when the mind comes home in the body, mindfulness, or in other words, we can also say when the mind takes refuge in the divine name. So चाह गई चिंता मिटी मनवा बेपरवाह. Now the mind is without any worries. It's like free, it's liberated. Because what binds us is not outer situations, what binds us is our preoccupation in the head with the outer situation. The restless, ongoing chatter of the mind. That's what binds us. While if we bring the mind back to the breath, home, and not listen to the chatter that goes on and on and on, then we are home, then we are free of that bondage. Bondage of thoughts, bondage of feelings. Ignoring it, not giving it much reality. That's not real. It appears as real, but that's not real. And what we have to make real is this inner refuge, the divine's name that has to become more and more concrete for us. So चाह गई चिंता मिटी मनवा बेपरवाह जिनको कछु नहीं चाहिए वो शाहन के शाह. So one who doesn't want anything has gotten disenchanted from this worldly material existence. That only can live like a king. And rest of us just live like beggars. Most of us, most of the time, live like beggars. Why? Because we are always getting enchanted by this material world. Some person comes, I get attracted to. Some opportunity comes, I just want to grab it. Why? Because something in me is lying hidden, which is full of this sense of lack, and it thinks that if I grab on this, I will become fulfilled, and that never happens. So like a beggar, like this open begging bowl that we have in hands, the ego lives like that. And I live identified with my ego consciousness, so I always keep on begging. And if we truly want a relief from this begging consciousness and from our limited sense of self, which no one really is happy with, then we have to bring the mind home, find contentment in the present moment, be here fully, be our bestest companion. This is a word that I feel very resonating with. You don't find it in dictionary. Bestest companion, the bestest ever companion that we have to be with our own selves. We have to never ever abandon our own selves, because here lies the divine presence. And if we truly want true contentment, true joy, which we can also spill out then to others, we will have to come back home to our divine presence. And with mindfulness of breathing, as the Master Thich Nhat Hanh says, when we become mindful of breathing, then we come back home, we take refuge in the divinity within, the presence within, the temple within. And then we are not a beggar, then we are the king. The king has gotten his throne back, and we need more and more kings in this world, because enough of begging already. We are all kings actually, but we forget that we are. So we have to reclaim our inner kingdom by being mindful, by bringing again and again mind home, back in this temple called body. Only then we can live like kings, and like a generous king, good king, not like a demonic king, like a generous good king. Because now I don't want anything from you or relationships or workplace. Now I don't want anything. I can only offer my presence to this world. So let that presence be more beautiful, more kind, more generous, more full of fragrance, so that we have no other choice but to spill out that fragrance from our being. So the world needs more of those people who can come back home and help others bring back home and live like a king and not like a beggar. So these are a few reflections, and again there are infinite possibilities on these two lines that masters have shared. So feel free to delve more, contemplate more, and let us make this our life, because this we all deserve to live like kings and not like beggars. Thank you.